Sure, let me check it out.
Ralph. Hey, Ralph.
VVPR. Well, obviously it's moving. Something happened today. What was the catalyst? What does this company do?
To check again. Really quick.
Operates a sustainable energy solutions company in Australia, Canada, and the Netherlands, the United Kingdoms, the United States, the Philippines, and the United Arab Emirates. So it's a sustainable energy. A lot of
No, there might have been some news. Uh, real news, actually.
was it a catalyst off of something else maybe?
I don't know. Maybe it just popped. I don't like scanner.
Yeah, it definitely popped off in the pre-market and then got a continued run today. I mean, unless I know the catalyst, there's not really much I can tell you about this. It was just a penny pump, you know?
Right.
It's been trading super low. Huh?
You heard the daily on
Yeah, I'm on it.
the daily?
Yeah. So basically, I mean, it's been trading average less than 5,000 shares a day. Average like super low volume, under 10,000 pretty much every day. And then today, of course, 100.
Tonight.
What's that?
Just not like.
Well, let's look at the shares outstanding. Shares outstanding is, 3.2 million. So 3.2 million, basically 3.3 million. So let's do the math on that. 3300,000 times $6 or 5.9. This thing's only valued at 19 million. This is a really small company. Even after today, it's only valued. It closed today with a valuation of just under 20 million. Before today, it was only worth today, yesterday's close, it was. This is only a $4.8 million stock. Someone outright could have just bought the whole company yesterday for cheap. Yeah, Hoosier could have bought this company if he wanted to.
So sure, nobody will have any tomorrow probably. But
I mean, other than if we want to look at the intraday structure, I mean, I think $7 is your playable level here. If you're looking for a continued move higher, I'd just be watching this $7 mark. This is the spot where it continuously hit a wall today and couldn't find strength over. Rejected it about 3 times here. Um, they found a base right around this 560, 550 area. So as long as you're above that, I'd still be looking for higher. The thing is if you can work through seven. If you can work through seven, I mean, this thing's probably got room into that 830, those previous highs. And it's got wow, it's
second day though,
huh?
try the second day
Okay.
after. As normally I see usually go down at the third day or get rid of the shares.
Yeah, this is the most volume this thing has done like ever.
Right. Solar company, am I right?
Yeah, it's a sustainable energy, so something like that. Wow, something's going on. 195 million shares traded. It did its float over today. It only has 3.3 million shares. This thing has done its entire float like 70 times over today. That's insane.
Surprised there's no news.
I'm sure there is. It doesn't just pump like this off of. It doesn't just pump off of this off of nothing.
Yeah. My sources didn't show me any of it, so
Let me
it's
let
stuff
me
there. I don't know.
let me look up, see if I can't figure out something. I found it. It's a merger. Yeah. Vivo Power's Tembo merges with CCTS. Yeah, it's a merger. Up 300%.
Is it just top?
No, it was confirmed.
Right.
Yeah. So yeah, that was the yeah, it looks like the news came out 9 hours ago, so that was like an hour or two before open, and you can see here's the reaction, right, 2 hours before open. Boom. Wow.
It's a cat.
But you wanna know what's funny is look at the volume the day before, you know. It's not much, but volume yesterday was certainly higher than previous, right? Let's look at um this is what I say when I mean somebody always knows, you know? So you've got 12,000, 6,000, and then all of a sudden 50,000. So someone knew this merger was coming, right? Every day before that, it didn't crack 10,000. Yeah, you've got 9,000, 4,000, 8,000, 12, 6, and then out of nowhere, 50,000.
They sell it.
Huh?
That's what the stock was.
Yeah, it's pretty funny because, you know, the day before, all of a sudden, 10x normal average volume, more than 10x. So someone always knows.
Yeah, real quick, that's it. Or
ACOR. Wow, this thing got destroyed.
I mean, it went up.
Huh?
It went up a little bit.
No, this thing, look at yesterday. It closed yesterday at 13. It's down at $2 today. Yeah, it got slammed today. The last reverse split was in June. Yeah, they did a reverse split in June and it got some reaction. But yeah, dude, this thing got absolutely crushed today.
Offering.
Let me look this one up too.
If you want, I'm not in it right now. I got.
Sure.
That's happened to me before. I lost $3,000 on an offering. It was up all day, and I was like, okay, I'll just keep it overnight, and then like right at the end of the day, they do an offering, and it tanks all the way back down to like hardly anything. I lost everything.
Okay.
Sad.
The company filed for bankruptcy, and another therapeutics company is acquiring all of their assets. Yeah, bankruptcy down 72% today, or 81%. Not a good day to be them. But yeah, that's kind of what we're seeing today. Um, what made you want to start getting into penny names?
I always have.
Yeah, you just start paying attention to the scanners a little bit more or something.
Yeah. I mean, if you can find the right salary plan, it's just as good as a option.
Yeah, I had my fun.
Because it takes so long, it takes an extra day. Not like options where they kind of the same instead of like two days.
It's trickier.
To get your money back before the contract's set off. It's a bit risky. I mean, you don't want to stay in them at
I was gonna say I had a stint with pennies back in like 2018, 2019. Got some good moves, honestly. I wrote one of my favorites was actually a long-term hold. This company UAVS. Wow, long time ago. I rode this from like $2 or something. Rode this from like yeah $2. No, yeah, was it? Did they do a split? This doesn't look right. They did do a split because this is when I got in, and yeah, 1 to 20. Anyways, when I got in the stock, it was like right here, and I paid like $2 a share. and we locked it in up here for, I think it was like 15 bucks or something like that. It was like 15 or 17 bucks. But yeah, I rode it from 2 to 17 over the course of like a month or two. That one was a ton of fun. Made a bag on this. But yeah, penny names are fun. And you know what it was? It was all on a rumor. It was all on a rumor that yeah, it was all on a rumor that Amazon was going to be acquiring them to do their drone deliveries. Never ended up happening. Yeah. Jeez. You know what's funny is this thing has been split so many times. You know, this stock is this, it's saying it was a $37,000 equity at one point, right? But look at these candles, look at these daily candles. This thing's always been a penny stock. They just keep doing these reverse splits. Let me see how many shares are outstanding now. Probably so few. It won't even show. Let's see. I want to look it up. Yeah, 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 yeah. UAVS shares outstanding.
You know what? I'm bad. I just realized I gave you the wrong.
Out as of March 2024, there's only 5.5 million shares. So at 67 cents, this company is only worth like $3.2 million. You could outright buy UAVS right now. Hoosier could acquire UAVS tomorrow if he wanted to.
Hold on.
All right, which one did you want to look at, man?
Hold on.
Acon, ACON. Oh, jeez, man. I mean, what are you looking to do with this?
Do anything today?
After hours, it's flat. It's actually a little bit red. No, it didn't do anything. It made a move to yesterday. Gave a good pump yesterday. Did like 20 something percent yesterday, but it has gapped all the way back down and is now contesting lows.
What the box? I think I the third day. So this fell off after the pump up. So just keep an eye on that.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what does this company even do? Nope, no fundamental data on it. Interesting.
Yep. Some news. I'm not sure what it was. An acquisition by somebody. Beneficial ownership acquisition. They filed some papers. What else?
Okay. Yeah, I mean, if you have something that you like, if you see something pop up on your scanner before market open, feel free to tag me, man. I'm happy to look at it in the mornings, when these things start to pop off. Maybe we can make some money on it.
All right. I see him every day. So.
Sweet. All right. What do we got? What do we got? Who's in here? Any new faces? What's going on, Dingyan? What's going on, Anon, Susio, Cooper? You guys got anything you want to check out?
Always, really.
What's going on, man?
So let's take a look at Ego.
EGO?
This one I'm really interested in. EGO.
This thing's seeing some nice positive action. All-time highs? Question? No, not even close.
Not even close.
Yeah.
These are out because this is why I'm looking at it. Closed yesterday. If you just kind of go around, look how far back you have to go to when they were at this level and they've just broken above it, right? So you're breaking years old ceiling.
Yeah, and you're working into this previous balance here.
It's at a time when the entire sector of like small miners and the metals are going crazy, and they just released an update on their the resources in their main mining property, which is in Greece. Years ago, I had been in them in the threes, and I rode them into double digits around the Greek elections. The government that had been holding up the process of those mines
voted out. But this is just, I mean, technically, it's a really interesting level for me. The close today was really significant. Close yesterday was really significant. The sector's really hot,
Yeah.
and 15 calls are cheap for this month and further out.
I think it's solid. I mean, it's in the middle of a really nice trend here. The only thing is, like, do you really want to chase it here? I like the re-enter of that balance from 2015 to 2017. I do think it's got room up into that 20 area before, a lot of sellers are likely present. But, are you really trying to chase it here, or do you want to at least maybe wait for a couple days of red before you get in? And you're obviously looking to play this with equity, not really options, right?
No, I'm looking to play it with options. I'm not in a position to take on equity, and I would take on personally, just because mentally I have a time buying trend or bid
Oh,
trend.
for sure. It's never a good
Um,
idea.
but the reason I'm looking at it right now, like I said, is I think there's a longer term move potentially to back up to 18 to 20. But shorter term, this breakout of the level, like yesterday and today, to me were really significant, and I think they provide a really a decent spot to risk against.
Yeah.
In the low 14s, it flows under back under. Breakout levels. I just kind of wanted to chart it with you. Levels from way back and kind of get your take on it, because I think for a short term move, when you've got such a hot sector with all the metal miners going crazy every day, and commodities going crazy every day right now, and having broken a resistance and 40 cents for a call with 3 weeks to go, that's just 20 cents out of the money. I don't think is bad, or the mains even are pretty cheap. Like,
I don't think it's a terrible idea. It's just it just scares me buying like this late trend, like you said. I like that the contracts are only monthly. It kind of forces volume to kind of, conglomerate. Um, I think April is a bit too soon. April feels like it's a bit rushed, and you might get stuck in those. But I like these Mays a lot better. They have the same spread. Definitely volume's not as good. I was looking at these though, the Julys. Look at these 17 calls for July. You've got a ton of volume on these today, you know? Still a decent spread. I think this could be your contract here if you're looking to swing it.
like with something, trade this a lot in the past, so like there is some sense memory of the way it behaves.
Sure.
And I know that the dip will be coming, right? So something for July. That's a great note. Those 17s for July. Um, but I think like your point, like the late entry, would be a lot more applicable to contracts further down the line. And I don't know. I think I only need 50 cents to a buck to double on these Aprils.
I agree. I think if you are just looking to capitalize real quickly, go ahead. Um, yeah, I think it could be worth a shot.
Longer term for the Julys, what would you be targeting?
I like that 20 area.
Or,
That 20 area looks like it should be a magnet for price, just looking at that previous balance and kind of where I would expect volume to taper off. And then looking all the way back, right? Look at that 20 area again. Look at how much respect it got on their way up. You know, this 20 area, I would imagine if they're exiting this and working on a greater reversal, that price should act as a magnet here over the next couple months.
I think play it short term here, just to kind of get it back on the watch list. Got a little capital off this level break, using the level as a stop out.
Yep.
And then when it breaks down, then start to look for those 17 Julys or lower strike.
I can get behind it. I like it. Again, I just looking at the contracts, I'd probably be really favoring these short-term these July contracts. But if you're thinking this trend's going to just continue over the next couple days, you could definitely capitalize on just these 15 April contracts.
Yeah. The Julys, those are priced pretty cheap too.
Yeah, not bad at all. Prolific Pockets. How's Red Dead Redemption treating you? Nothing. All right.
Since you got that, you can talk next. Let me talk, bro. Come on.
What's up, Anon? What do you want to check out?
Either Chevron or Coin.
We can do both.
Yeah.
Chevron, still in this age-old balance, huh? It's just trending higher. It's gotten a big move recently. A lot of the energy names have been doing really good. I'm sure you've seen CCJ that Cobain plays all the time, and Oxy. They're in the middle of a really nice run right now, and Chevron's they're no exception. They're seeing a good trend higher here as well. What are you looking to do with it here? Are you looking to short it? You looking to catch a dip to grab longs or what?
Where's the top? Like, where can we go? Like,
I mean,
it's a good round to be looking.
it's still in a balance, you know. I mean, longer term, it's been stuck in this same area for a long time. Granted, it's a very large balance, but just looking at it, I can tell you your volume taper is going to be somewhere down here, right? It's going to be somewhere between like 143 to 140, and then your upper limit, I want to throw volume on just so that we can see it. I don't want to guess at it. It could be
How you got that like right there?
which one, the lower one?
The lower one, yeah.
Yeah, just like this. You know, looking at this 140 area, every dip into here is contested, and that's where they've ended up making a bottom. I'm not doing a ton of analysis right now. It's just kind of looking at the chart. Plus, when it's happened this many times on like a bigger time frame like this, right? Look at how many days we spent down here before bottoming the first time. And down here, this was a high volume period. You can see it with the volume on the bottom. This sell off into this zone was done off of really good volume. So you've built a good shelf here, right? So every time we come down into this 140 area, you know that there's a ton of orders sitting down there every time. So that kind of explains this bounce. You've also got a really large taper that's formed right here at about 154 down to about 151, right? So if you are looking for a dip, this would probably be my best spot. Again, you're going to be waiting a long time, or there's going to have to be some sort of unforeseen catalyst if you want to catch it all the way into 140 again. But if you do see a dip, this area, this 151 to 154 would be the spot that I'm looking to catch a dip. And then again, bigger picture, if this trend is going to sustain across the rest of energy and the rest of kind of those oil and energy names, I would imagine this thing's still got room up into this 170 area. Hell, I think at this point, with the trend we're seeing, I don't think we may see that 150 test again before we end up visiting 170. I think you might just have to take a risk on a decent sell day and just hop in with some time. But yeah, this 170 area would probably be your best target. There'll be points along the way where it kind of struggles. One spot that's catching my eye is this mid 164, 165 spot. They've seen a lot of pivots here. It's been a reversal ceiling in the past. It's gotten respect all through here. So if I mark off 164, you can see it's gotten its fair bit of respect. Oh, 164. Right? So it's been a reversal ceiling in the past, right? You can see it's gotten a lot of respect. So this would probably be an area where I think you could use as a short interim target. Yeah. Lock in a trim there. But I'd imagine this next round it shouldn't have much of a problem working through to 170. This would just be kind of a target along the way. But it's definitely a long-term play. Like if you are looking to grab a dip and grab some calls on this, you're looking at buying a contract. Yeah, at least. I was thinking closer to 2 or 3 months, to be honest. Let's look at some contract. Yeah, like let's look at like May contracts. May contracts, if you're gonna grab May, I would start in the money or at the money. I think if anything, these June 165s look really good. These 165 and 170 calls look pretty solid. But again, that's also assuming that you're buying it on a dip. So these would be the two contract dates that I'd be looking at. Yeah, you're definitely going to want to see the rest of what is the energy sector. Energy sector's in the middle of a breakout. What am I talking about? This is why we're seeing this move. You know, XLE is finally seeing a breakout after, after almost 2 full years. We've been rejecting since July of 2022. So here we are 2 full years later, and energy is finally breaking out. This can easily run. Like energy can easily see a big run. I wouldn't be surprised to see XLE visiting, as high as 110 to 115 over the next few months.
Okay.
So energy is a good sector to be watching right now. Energy is probably one of the only sectors that I'd be like really bullish on right now. I don't think, I think a lot of the tech run has probably run its course, and it'll probably go into another cyclical cycle for another year or two. Um, I expect retail and consumer staples to honestly kind of get hit over the next year or two if we're expecting some sort of minor recession. So if you're going to be long anything for more than a few months, energy's your sector, in my opinion. Energy is probably going to be the strongest thing here over the next couple months.
Mhm. If you look at what names like Exxon and Oxy have been doing, I mean, Chevron's a laggard.
Yeah, Oxy's been killing it. Oxy's, back at the top of its range here, and then ExxonMobil is contesting highs. There are energy's on fire right now, and I'm sure you guys have seen Cobain's CCJ. This thing's in the middle of a massive rebound to highs. You know, the thing is, when these like major kind of staple energy names run, they hold their trends for a good amount of time. So I'm hoping. I recently just bought a bunch more Oxy equity when we were down here in this 55 area. Thankfully, I'm stoked about it. This whole floor, everyone's joking about it, but like every time Oxy drops below 57, 56, you know, you see it when Buffett reports his like 10Q or 10K. Every time he posts, he just adds more and more Oxy at this 56 level. So I finally jumped in with him in on these last few dips. I was picking up my share of equity, and yeah, it's helping. I hope this is the round where they can all finally run, because you know there's some money to be made here. And you see like these energy names, like look at Oxy here over like a weekly. This thing doesn't joke around when it moves. When it breaks out, here's a move from 32. It kind of stalled out around 60. When this thing trends, it trends. So we've been in this range similarly to Chevron for about 2 years now. Hopefully this can pick up. Oh, Hamed, I think you got some background noise, my man.
INDR.
I got him. Hamed, can you hear me, man? You got some background noise. Okay, let me mute him. Right. What's up, Susio?
While we're on the sector, would you pull up INDO? It's a little penny name.
INDO. Got it.
Yeah, the two really strong volume days and strong price action days.
Yeah.
Heck, while the sector's breaking out, it's a former runner, super low float. It's one of those penny names that people will start flooding into potentially.
This feels like it. Honestly, this feels like it's just a quick pump. I think this thing will get faded. I feel like today or yesterday was the day to play it. I feel like the move's over from here. It goes on these pumps and it's short lived. It just fades it for the next few months every time. If anything, your time to be buying it is when it looks like this, and just hold through and wait for it. It does this. Oh, I know. I know.
When it starts running, like the reason I'm referencing it, you remember the last time we went crazy on oil.
Sure.
Because the sector was so fucking shorted, and the entire sector just went mad.
Yeah, I remember that.
This was the name.
Yeah. Yeah, I jumped from about $5 to 87.
Yeah, it went insane. So if we're seeing volume come back into it while the sector is going crazy, and just potentially starting to really squeeze, I think.
Okay.
It's one I want to keep an eye on.
Sure. I think it's worthwhile just if you're looking at just the last like trend that we've seen over the past, couple years here, it hasn't been positive following these pumps. It really gives them back up fast. They just keep getting faded.
It's a shit company. I mean, the sector really has to go mad for this one to be a multi-day thing that you can have any kind of courage in.
Yeah.
But 2 strong days, right? That's a lot of volume comparatively. So
Yeah.
there is some interest.
I'll be
coming
honest with
back.
you. Yeah, I would keep an eye on it. I'll be honest, I don't have much interest in this. I think if you are going to look to capitalize on oil, I think options with other names, other stronger names will probably pay better than what the equity could do on this thing, you know?
She was looking at ticker PBF to capitalize off of energy, like smaller name, a little bit like not as not as big as Chevron or
Oh yeah.
but
Yeah, here's a stock that's doing well.
yeah, and this is the thing. Has been consistently doing well for the recent, even held very nicely through the dips we've had on energy and oil.
Are there really only? There's no way there's only 25 stocks in the XLE ETF, right? I guess there are. Wow. Okay. And one of them just got delisted. PBF, right? Yeah, this thing looks super strong. It's maintained a solid trend, they just added a dividend over the past couple years. Their earnings are their earnings are kind of all over the place, if we're being honest, but they maintain steady growth.
I think it's there have been significant downgrades. The recent earnings was very not great. We've seen positive like price action since, and it seems like people are still very much so accepting and validating these price like levels. And with the breakout in energy, I don't think with the way that it's held up and pushed through the dips, I think this could be a great runner going into a strong energy side.
Yeah, I'll be real. I think with what we're gonna see in energy over the next couple years is, you could pick 50 names, write them all on a dartboard, throw 5 darts, pick those 5 names. You'll probably outperform the XLE ETF if we're being honest. With the growth that the energy sector is likely to experience, it's a no-brainer. You want to have exposure to these names. PBF, I need to do more DD and figure out if I'd like to buy it. I won't be a buyer here at these prices, that's for sure. But if you're positioned lower, really anywhere lower under 50, you're probably sitting pretty nice right now. I don't think you'll go red on that equity for a long while. But yeah, I think energy is just one of those sectors right now where it's gonna be a runner for probably a good couple years. So I think any of these names you'd have good luck. Of course, some names are gonna perform better than others, but safest way to accumulate is just buy the XLE ETF. But this one looks solid. Compared to the big staple names that we've looked at, right? Chevron and Exxon, this thing's definitely outperforming those. This thing's while the others have been kind of stuck in the same spot for the past 2 years, this thing's maintained a steady trend higher. It's really clean. Let me look, where do they operate? What is up with fucking TOS not displaying my fundamental data? Gotcha. Okay. All right, makes sense. All right. Anon, you wanted to check out Coinbase too, right? So Coinbase is interesting. Obviously, it's not loving life at the moment, but I would argue that it's still fine. And in fact, I even think it's still a good dip buy right now. Again, for options, I'm talking short term. I'm not talking long term. If you're going to invest in crypto, just go buy some crypto. Um, let's see, coin. Here we go. So Bitcoin obviously had a pretty rough day today. Um, something's going on with them. They're not doing too well. Still balancing at highs though. So I think Bitcoin is still on a trend higher. I do believe that it will break higher. I am on the bull train, and I believe that we should see 100K this year. I think that's a very logical next target. If you don't have crypto exposure, I would get some crypto in your portfolio. Thankfully, there are brokerages that allow you to have crypto holdings along with your equities. For example, Tasty Trade allows crypto trading. I don't trade it. I just own some Bitcoin in my portfolio. Um, I think I think this is, if you studied any of the cycles that kind of crypto tends to move in, we're in, I believe, the sixth or seventh cycle. Um, Crypto has dropped 80% of its value 5 times over now and has gone on to more than double from its previous highs, right? So if we're looking at the last previous highs at 69,000, I think it's very logical that we're shooting for 100 to 130K on this next round higher. Um, Again, what is too high can go higher, you know? And with something like this where there really isn't an intrinsic value, but faith based on a failing US dollar, I think the argument for crypto is becoming more and more strong by the day. So again, Coinbase, it's gonna be tough just because it is a company that has a fair intrinsic value, and so it's not going to track with Bitcoin perfectly. Their structures are going to vary, and their strength is going to vary based on or relatively. But I do think that Bitcoin will end up making another leg higher here, extending through to maybe 80K over the next run. I think in the next couple weeks. So I like this dip a lot for Coinbase. I think that if you're looking to grab options, they're super expensive. Don't get me wrong, they're super expensive, but maybe it could be a very good trade with equity. Like if I was looking to play options, I'd be looking at like mid-May, maybe like 350 calls to make some money. These could definitely do some numbers. Um, but I think the safest bet would probably just be equity, because even if you ride it from here back into the pivot high, that's $40 on a $250 stock. That's still a 15% equity trade, right? So you can still make some really good money here. You can still make some really good money here playing it safe. So again, if I were to buy it now, I think I'd try to buy it as close to this 243 area as I could, and then risking against these pivot lows at 220, right? So you're risking about $25 to the downside to make 40 at the least. And then, of course, with equity, it's a lot easier to scale out. You're not being constrained by time or theta decay or anything like that. So it could take as long as it needs, so long as it doesn't break under 220 and close. It's safe to keep holding. So say you're targeting 300, right? You're risking $25 here to make potentially 55, right? That's much better than a 2-to-1 risk. That's a good trade. So I'm a huge bull when it comes to Bitcoin. Again, all the other cryptos. Side note, I think when people are rolling in dough and making 70,000% on shit coins and all those meme coins, right? A top is in. A top is coming quickly, but I do think that there's still room to run, and there will still be momentum carried through the entire sector. Again, I may be a little bit biased because I hold Bitcoin, and I do like Coinbase as a company, but that's my thoughts on it. Again, if you wanna stay unbiased, again, if you want to long it here, I'd be risking down to 220. Again, wouldn't touch options on it. It just seems like they're extremely pumped with IV. Premiums are extremely expensive right now. Um, you could very easily lose a lot of money if it doesn't do anything for a week or two. So I'd kind of stay away from options with it unless you've got the account size to kind of back that. But um, yeah, I think if you're looking to long it right here, right now, you're risking $25 to possibly make 40, possibly even 60 up to the highs. So I'm a fan, and that's my thoughts on Coin and on. I think there's still a good opportunity here. Does that make sense, Anon? Sweet. All right. Dingyan, how's your night going, man?
Pretty good. I'm about to go to bed soon.
Hey, thanks for stopping in though. Is there anything you want to look at? Anything at all?
Uh, let's give some technicals on Tesla.
Tesla. Tesla's almost near that area where it's looking like a good buy. So this whole area, this black zone I've got marked off, you can't really tell because we've spent so much time here. But this area is a pretty significant liquidity gap. We spent a lot of time down here. Let's see if it's still standing actually, because it might not be. I might be really late on updating this chart. Let's throw it down to about 4 years instead of 5. Yeah, so a lot of this area has actually been filled out. But basically, your main spot still stands. Dips into the mid 150s. I think is a fucking amazing entry on Tesla long term. I'm still a bull on Tesla. This is their first negative delivery report in a long, long time. Right? It's just a bump in the road. And today's gap down was already, people were already starting to bid it back after the open. But again, if we see, like, I've got alerts set for under 160. If we break under 160, I'll be buying. I'll be a buyer of equity. Again, I don't see much of a trade setup here. I think it's fighting a little bit of seller exhaustion here. It's the weakest name in the Nasdaq year to date. You know that? It's performed the worst out of the entire Nasdaq this year, which is odd
Yeah.
considering it's Tesla. Yeah, especially considering the Nasdaq's in a bull run. You're exactly right. So it's super beat up, right? But it's also coming into a spot where I believe risk to reward and just, a good pickup long term is. This company, you realize if it dips back under 150, its valuation will be under 500 billion. This is for coming from a company that used to be worth like 1.2, 1.3 trillion dollars.
Yeah, that's
It's a great dip buy. It's a great dip buy. In fact, like I'm a Tesla bull, so I'll be buying more equity. If I get a notification that this thing's under 160 here in the next couple days, I'll be buying this thing all the way down into like 145 to 140. So again, I'm just accumulating for long term. Even if the market sees a correction and this thing dumps back into 120 or as low as 100 again, guess who's still going to be buying? This guy. Me. I personally don't think we'll see that low again though. I do think that this 140 to 150 area is going to be your best pickup.
gotcha. Do I play it with leaps and options as well, or just equity?
That's really hard because again, you're talking to someone who is biased, right? I've got my opinions formed on the year, the upcoming year for the market, right? I'm My long-term portfolio is very much hedged. I've got long-dated SPY shorts and I've got long-dated VIX calls. Okay, so I'm very much anticipating and looking for a significant market correction, anywhere from, it could be minor. If we get 10 to 12%, I'll be satisfied, but I kind of expect closer to 15 to 20, right? So I'm expecting the market to see a significant correction, and it's hard to imagine that if we do see that type of correction in the market, that Tesla will just stop selling at 150. You know what I mean? It'll probably come a lot lower, just like everything else. And you'd be surprised how low a lot of names went during COVID, right? During that flash crash month. So what is too low can always go lower. And I've been wrong a million times, and I'll be wrong a million more times. So I don't think leaps are super comfortable. If anything, I think your best bet is just buying some equity and closing your eyes on it for a few years in your equity account. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Now, if you do like leaps, energy. Energy is your stock. Is your sector.
Yeah, I was gonna ask that, but I think you answered the Oxy question already.
Yeah, 100%. If you want leaps on something, I think energy is probably your safest bet. Or
It's like Oxy.
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be buying it today. Um, Probably want to wait for it to at least slow down or consolidate for a little bit, if not pull back. But you've got plenty of time. Like I said, I think energy is going to be strong for years to come. I think it's going to be one of the leading sectors over the next couple years. As we kind of see a cycle in the market, right? This last year has been very much tech heavy, right? Nvidia, AMD, ASML, Micron, Qualcomm, those companies have run the market, right? We're starting to see kind of a cycle in a rotation out of tech, and I think everyone with half a brain is throwing as much money as they can into energy. So I think those are going to be the names that are kind of leading the market here over the next couple years. And if you want leaps on something, that's probably your best bet. I'd be hesitant if you're looking at leaps for downside, or long dated shorts. The only thing I would play long dated shorts on is just the S&P, because if we do see some sort of recession, there are sectors that are going to be hurt more than others, and trying to pick and choose is very difficult. So, my plan with Tesla, like I said, if we get a dip under 160 for the short term, I'll be a buyer in this 20 point range from 140 up to 160. And those are all long term shares. I don't care if they dip into 100 if the market corrects. I'll keep buying, right? It's about creating a long term position, you know. So that's my plan with Tesla. Otherwise, I don't think leaps are the best idea. Just for the safety aspect of it. You get what I'm saying?
Yep.
Yeah.
Hey, Wax.
Yeah.
Hey, looking at Leap, what contract would you be looking at for Oxy?
It's a good question. So if we were to break out over this 70 area and make a run, where would we logically be targeting? I think the next logical spot is close to 80. If we're lucky, we get a pop into this 95 area. Let's see. Entering right here is going to be tough, and contracts are going to be pretty, off-putting just because of the move we've made over the last couple months, right? Contracts are going to be pretty pricey, so I don't think we'll get an accurate read of what you would actually pay if you waited like 2 weeks from now and we got a dip back into like 65 or 63 or something, and you got a better entry. So keep that in mind. Any contract I choose right now, you'll probably be able to get cheaper if you wait a little bit.
Your contract's a coin right now.
Oh, you're so right. Thank you for that. I was gonna say these look a bit expensive for Oxy. Oh, these are really cheap, honestly. These are really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, these are awesome. These are awesome. Wow, I think these are severely undervalued. 75 calls, 2 years away. These are so cheap to me. If we get to 95, right? If we get to that kind of big, broad, big target, best case scenario, that puts these contracts at an intrinsic value of $2,000, right? You're buying 2 years of time premium here, and this feels like a great deal to me. I think the farther the better, obviously. Um, but these 75 calls for January 2026 look really good. If you don't want that much time, I'd say these are a little bit cheaper. You're getting 6 months less time, but if you want to be able to get more contracts, this is probably still better. If you were gonna play this year, right, for the end of the year, I'd probably play closer to the money. I'd still probably elect to get in the money with these 65 calls. But again, you're not buying it now. You'd want to see a few dollars rejection before you get back in.
Gotcha. Okay.
So these contracts, you may be able, if we dip back into 65 or so, what do we close at 67.2, right? So if we fell back into 65, you could probably snag these contracts for like 700. Wow, and actually they were trading at 700 today. Look, 13 contracts were bought today, bought or sold, and the last fill price was 761. So someone probably bought those or sold those this morning. But I think Oxy is a great name to grab leaps on. Again, you don't want to be buying it today or anytime this week just because of the move it's been making. You're going to overpay for contracts. If we do see a dip back under 65, that'd probably be your best time to look at an option like that.
How long have you been watching Oxy for?
I've been keeping an eye on Oxy since probably like mid 2022. I didn't really know what Oxy was during this period and during this breakout. I remember Cobain played it during this move. This made some money for him, but I didn't really start paying attention to it until Warren Buffett started announcing all of his buys. Back in 2022. He started picking it up around here. But
Nice support level.
yeah, every time it's dipped into this 56 spot, Warren Buffett buys some more.
Good to know.
Yeah, it's a nice backup, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
But anyways, yeah, they pay a solid dividend, right? If you look at the yield on it, even at this price, it's 67 bucks, right? That's 88 cents. So 0.88 divided by yeah, even if you're buying it right here at this price, it's still a yield of like 1.3% a year. Granted, there are definitely names with better yields, but think about my average price. My average price is down at 56. So, 88 cents at 56, that's a yield of 1.6%, right? So it's one of those names. It's like I've got some Oxy and I've got some Exxon in my account. Um, I'm gonna put my money where my mouth is. I think Oxy is a great name. It always helps when Warren's buying. He's done his DD on the management, the growth, the sector, all that, right? So I'm a fan. I'm a believer, and again, for my own reasons, and what seems natural is energy is going to remain strong for a couple years here at least. Even at the technical level, right? XLE has been balancing and in consolidation for the last 2 years. It's finally breaking out now over this last couple weeks. Like I said earlier, I do not think it's out of the question to see Oxy or XLE here at 115. That's a 20% rise from here to 115. The entire energy sector could grow by 20% in the next. I wouldn't put it past them to say 6 months. 6 months to a year, the entire energy sector could grow by 20%. What's going on, Zunes? How's League of Legends going?
Yo, good.
I'm-
Just chilling here watching the charts and playing.
Hell yeah, dude. I'm loving this new Discord update. I can just see what games you guys are playing. Prolific Profits, man. You were late to the session because you were playing Red Dead Redemption 2, huh?
Honestly, I didn't get notifications for you guys. I was told to watch out for them, and I didn't. So I just said.
Oh, are you on mobile?
I'm on mobile and I'm on my desktop, but I had it muted.
Oh, well, make sure you've got notifications turned on for the server, man.
That was my bad.
Very good. I need to play through Red Dead Redemption 2 again, man. It's a great game.
I hope they make another one.
Well, you better hope Grand Theft Auto 6 isn't a big success then.
It will be.
It will be. I'm letting you guys know right now. I'm taking a week off trading when GTA 6 comes out.
I got loans on Take-Two Entertainment.
Well, you and every other, teenage investor. You know what's funny though? It's not a bad investment. Let's look at 2013 when they released GTA 6. Yeah. Yeah, it's been quite the return on investment. So, hey, if you think GTA 6 is going to be a good investment, buy some Take-Two. When did you guys know the date that they announced GTA 6?
I'm not sure.
I'll look it up real quick.
I can check.
Announcement date. February 4th, 2022. Okay. February 4th, 2022 is when it was announced. Oh wow, you'd be red.
You're right.
Yeah, you'd be red. Well, anyways, um, there's definitely a correlation with how Take-Two has performed over the past 10 years and when GTA announced shark cards, right? If you guys play GTA, you know exactly what I'm talking about. That is their in-game currency and how they are still making tens, if not hundreds of $1 million a month off of a 10-year-old video game. So you can bet your ass they're going to employ the same in-game purchase and microtransactions in GTA 6. It has worked extremely well for them. But anyways, we are running a little bit low on time here. Got about 5 minutes left. Does anyone else have anything they want to check out?
Karen.
Sure. Yeah, what's up?
Can we look at Wells Fargo?
I was just looking at this today. It looks really good. Yeah, they're really fighting this 58 level. They're balancing at highs. Bigger picture here, you're at the previous pivot highs. This looks really solid. I was looking at it today because obviously since Powell came out last week and reassured everyone that rate cuts are still very much a plan this year, that was extremely positive news for all things banks, right? Goldman Sachs, Bank of America, JP Morgan, Wells Fargo, they've all seen a crazy move over the last couple weeks following that reassurance. So the sentiment's positive, right? Structure's been really clean. I think this is a really good setup here. If you are playing kind of just day to day, you can just risk shorts against this 58 level. It's been really respected, and it's just been a very clean level to play off of, right? Anytime it pops over, you short it, and then you just use a daily close above for a stop loss, right? So this thing's been offering some really good trades. But otherwise, if you're looking to swing it, if you get another dip kind of into this mid 56 area, that could offer a really good long entry to potentially catch the continuation move, especially leaning into earnings, right? This is, with that kind of excitement around the names, you could definitely see a continuation move kind of run up into that earnings, maybe see as high as 60. What were you looking to do with it? Sucio?
Right. Yeah, I mean, you know where my head's at. Two banks. I think this is the weakest of the big name banks. I was looking at it because that range right there that you drew is really super clean. Right at right on that taper. That was the big gap. There's this really big volume um, in puts for April and further out, and really big open interest on April puts as well, which who knows how long that's been there.
Yeah.
But the main reason I was looking at it is you see how long it's been ranging there, while everything else has not. Right? Like you look at APM or VAC, and I noticed I saw today some pretty large, and they may just be hedges, all selling and put buying in like Citibank and JPM and VAC today. But all those other ones, like they topped a couple of days ago, but they're still pretty much on an uptrend, and they haven't kind of flattened out. I think the closest one is Schwab, which is flattened out for like 3 or 4 days in that range. But Wells Fargo seems to be the first one. Like it seems like it's a few days ahead in this range here. So yeah, I'm watching this range box, and top and bottom of it seem pretty good risk entries.
I can get behind it.
I'm looking for downside.
Okay. So yeah, just that 68 spot. That 68 spot we mentioned is probably your best spot to risk against. They gave it another test today, and leading into earnings, I'm sure you'll get a chance to enter. Hell yeah. Well, that's our session, guys. Tomorrow we've got Powell, so be ready for some midday excitement. Shouldn't bring any new surprises. He's just given a little motivational speech at Stanford, so it shouldn't really move markets, but who knows? He may say something that we don't see coming. Maybe spark some IV in contracts and cause some volatility. But I wouldn't get your hopes up. Otherwise, we've got some swings open. I'm personally swinging some SPY shorts. I know Hoosier and Squiggle are both in a bunch of swings as well. So stay posted to see how those go. Otherwise, shout out to you guys for showing up. It's really motivating to see you guys show up and attend these sessions, get your questions answered. We are almost halfway through the week, and we're doing good. So hope you guys have a great rest of your night, and let's kill it the rest of the week. All right?
All right, thanks, Wax.
Thanks, man.
Oh yeah. You guys have a good night. Later, guys.
All right, bye.